Welcome to the Tech Blog Writer Podcast, your guide to future tech trends and innovation in a language you understand. Now, over to your host, Neil Hughes.
Welcome back to another episode of the Tech Blog Writer Podcast. Now, I'm recording today's show with a severe case of man flu, which is something that I think only men out there can truly sympathise with me greatly. Ladies of the world may mock our weakness, but it is scientifically proven, so I think we should leave this one to the experts. I say that, of course, as I duck for cover, but in the words of Freddie Mercury, the show must go on. Now, anyone with a smartphone should have heard of PicsArt. They're the world's largest editing app that's created a new kind of creative community. But what really interested me about this story was how it began life as a small tech company in Armenia and grew to a global brand by simply moving beyond its impressive product features to create a new kind of social collaboration. It's a fantastic story that is truly inspirational, and I think it's great to hear the story behind the success. So buckle up and hold on tight so I can beam your ears all the way to the US so we can speak with Hovhannes Avoyon, who's going to tell us how he grew a company from a small startup in Armenia to a global brand. So a massive warm welcome to the show. Can you tell the listeners a little about who you are and what you do?
I'm Hovhannes Avoyon, and I'm the founder and CEO of PicsArt.
Well, PicsArt is known as the world's largest editing app that's created this new kind of creative community, and I love it for that. But for anyone hearing about it for the very first time, can you just help set the scene and offer an overview of what it is, who uses it, and also what problems it solves?
PicsArt is a creative platform with more than 100 million monthly active users, and it's the world's most advanced photo editing tool. The company was founded on belief that every artist needs access to quality tools and safe and collaborative space to share their work. Today, the global community uses about 3,000 tools and features to edit more than 850 million images every month. And our community is creating more than 50 million stickers every month.
I also read that there's a unique new PicsArt brushes tool where I think you can create easily impressive edits, but the most important thing here is in just one swipe. I mean, can you help listeners visualize how that works?
Yes, brushes is the latest tool that allows PicsArt users to apply a range of effects in a simple and intuitive way, including incorporating the full repository of our almost like 10 million free stickers into images with one simple swipe. This is a tremendous help to our community to be more creative and deliver awesome pictures.
Now, I love to hear and share startup stories on the show from all over the world. So when I came across your story of building a startup in Armenia and growing it into a global brand, I think it's incredibly inspirational. So can I take you back to where this all began and ask you to share your story of where you got here today?
With pleasure. This is my sixth company, and I was in the middle of selling one of my companies when one day I walked to my home and find my daughter crying because of, she was 10 years old at that time, and she's an artist. She is an artist. She likes to draw and paint, and she was doing all the time. And what's happened? I mean, she was posting one of her drawings to one of the social networks. And she get very brutal comments and very unpleasant and very discouraging, so to say. And she was completely shocked. And that was a kind of aha moment for me to understand, this is an opportunity. There's also a kind of a mission to help people like her to be creative on the go, to be creative every time, and also to be part of a community which is welcoming and which is encouraging people to start this process, to be creative and to be surrounded by other creative people. So since that, this was became more than just business for me, because I see huge potential for making people creative, helping people to stay creative, and improving people's life, improve their skills, and making people to be more positive and welcoming.
They did mention there helping people stay creative, and I think that's so important because any startup or business must also evolve and adapt over the years to maintain that momentum. So can you tell me how you went beyond your product features to create that new kind of social collaboration too?
So we are not just providing editing tools. We also invest in things we call free-to-edit images, which is kind of like open source images, allowing people to share their assets and allowing other people to collaborate. So the things we call remix, people are remixing very heavily today in PicsArt by just using community pictures and creating a lot of edits on top of these images. So this is one of the things which help people to stay creative and encourage our community to work together and share their art.
So what's developing technology that inspires creativity, something that was important to you right from the beginning, right from where you had that conversation with your daughter? Was that right from the very beginning? Was that at the heart of it?
Yes, I mean, it was initially we were very much focusing on a tools part. So we were building the most advanced tools, and we very early on the mobile editing space. But ultimately we built community features. We built sharing, and we built also attribution when people are doing remixes. So the author of the original is getting backlinks from the derivative work. So that makes them even more happy because they see their work is not just consumed but also used to create another art.
So if anyone is listening on their own startup journey, what kind of advice would you offer them to grow a mobile-first free platform to like over 100 million users like you guys have done? I mean, are there any particular lessons that you've learned along the way?
So yes, I mean, and I not only just learned through PicsArt, but through other companies I have before. Yeah. In a startup world, and especially in consumer mobile area, I mean, it's important to be persistent and resilient. There are lots of stresses. I mean, it's a very stressful job to run a startup. And one thing I strongly believe is the things which doesn't kill you. I mean, by killing, I understand your energy or the desire to succeed makes you stronger. So there will be stress and all kind of downtimes, but it's all temporary. I mean, every failure is not a failure; it's a part of the success.
There's a lot of talk at the moment about artificial intelligence taking away jobs, but I don't think we talk enough about how many new roles are being created and how we need to start arming kids with new skills ready for those new jobs. But I recently read how you said that there's a lack of AI experts in schools in Armenia. I mean, can you tell me more about your insights there and also why you still think it's so important?
Right. We're really seeing like the landscape for jobs is changing. I mean, we see more demand for for AI specialists, and we see a lack of these specialists. So PicsArt is taking a very active position on that, not just by hiring AI people, but we're also spending our resources to train these people. So what we do, we create training courses. We train people at PicsArt. We also help other like universities and other training institutions to develop good training programs. We have internships at PicsArt. So a lot of stuff. I mean, a lot of things. I mean, because we are one of the largest startups also in Armenia, where we I started. We also, see our role is to be the accelerator of AI adoption in the country, so to say. So that's why I'm using a lot of of our popularity in the country just to promote AI education and promote AI jobs in Armenia, and I think we are getting good acceptance of this by the population there.
At PicsArt at the moment, what are your biggest challenges and opportunities at the moment that are taking up all your time?
Yes, we were growing organically so far. I mean, to get 100 million monthly active users by doing very little marketing and brand activities. So PicsArt was growing because of friends or families were recommending to each other, and we were growing at really high speed. But Right now, we need to spend more time on our brand recognition and brand partnerships. We are doing much more partnerships today with companies like Dior, with bands like 30 Seconds to Mars, with media outlets like Pop Sugar, and it's helping to create more brand awareness about PicsArt as also not just a platform, but also not just a creativity platform, but also a platform where brands and celebrities can get engaged with their fan base in a very creative way, meaning they can run contests and challenges and get lots of authentic content through the community.
So what's your grand vision for the company? And is there anything else that you can share with us today?
Right. I think we see 100 million users is one of important milestones, but it's not the end of the game. I mean, we see 100 million is one of important accomplishments. I mean, it's you probably figure out like there are a few companies which are above us in terms of monthly active users, and most of them are the public companies. So we are becoming one of the largest creative communities in the world, and we want to be the top destination for people to make, find, and share creative and awesome content. So that's to become a top destination. So I think 100 million is just one step. But we're expecting to become much, much larger and having everyone to use our platform to be, creative, to have fun with images, to, consume, interesting, content, and to be a destination for people, for creative people.
So before I let you go, could I just ask that you point the listeners in the direction of your website information and also where people can get hold of PicsArt and give it a try, or even contact a member of your team if they have got any questions about anything that we've talked about today?
So the best way to explore our tools are to use one of our mobile app either on iOS or on Android. So we have it's usually within the top charts in different markets. People can download our PicsArt app, which is available on all countries. People also can learn about PicsArt on our website, which is PicsArt.com, and actively get engaged with the community. And it's a platform for everyone, not just artists.
Well, a huge thanks for coming on today. I love your inspirational story there and how you've taken a negative where you had that obviously upsetting conversation with your daughter at the time, and that's blossomed into this app now that's used by 100 million users, which is fantastic on its own. But what I also love is how you've not forgotten where you've come from and you've gone back to Armenia and talking about the need for AI experts in the country and using your position to actually inspire other children too. And I think that's a fantastic thing. So a big thank you for coming on today.
Thank you, Phil. Thank you. It was my pleasure too.
Who would have thought that you could have 3,000 plus mobile editing tools and the technology behind it rivals the abilities of Photoshop all on your smartphone? I mean, that still blows my mind. But what really makes it different from all those other photo editing apps, beyond its sheer scale, is how it's moved beyond just a few cool product features and actually moved forward to build an engaged creative community. A community that collaborates with each other plus brands, editing 850 million plus images a month and actually sharing that content on other social platforms too. Now, the fact that today's guest grew this concept from a small startup in Armenia to the global brand that it is now is nothing short of inspirational. But I think what is more inspirational is how he returned to his roots and uses his status to inspire the education system and children of Armenia on the importance of teaching and learning AI skills. That alone makes him a very special man in my book, so a big thank you to him for coming on today. But as always, let me know your thoughts through the usual channels. If you do follow me on Twitter at Neil C. Hughes, you'll know that I've just got my hands on an antidote to man flu. So I'm going to give that a go now and feel sorry for myself, curled up in a ball watching cartoons. But I promise you, I will return tomorrow. The show will go on. I'm made of stronger stuff than that. I'm old school. So I'll be back with another guest tomorrow. So a big thank you for listening. And until next time, don't be a stranger.
Thanks for listening to the Tech Blog Writer Podcast. Until next time, remember, technology is best when it brings people together.